Hey, what's up guys? It's Luke. Welcome to Luke the Gathering. I'm glad you came to my channel to check it out. I am a new Magic player. Haven't been playing for very long. In fact, my first set for Magic, Strixhaven. I mean, I tried Magic ages and ages ago, but we're not counting that. Finally, seriously into Magic with Strixhaven. And so I've been playing Strixhaven a lot, and I'm actually sad that it is sort of rotating out of the sort of main set, because we're actually going to be hitting the new Dungeons & Dragons set pretty soon here, and Strixhaven will be kind of off arena and in terms of everyday play and all of that. I've been playing a lot of Strixhaven draft on arena, which I've loved doing, and I love playing it at the local gaming store that I go to, because it's what they do for their Friday Night Magic. It's the set that we do booster drafts out of. It's great, it's a lot of fun, and I'm used to a lot of the cards, but I'm happy that I get to learn a bunch of new cards in the Dungeons & Dragons set, so that's going to be something to look forward to. But in terms of kind of saying goodbye to Strixhaven a bit, there are a few cards that I've gotten to really, really enjoy and like in the Strixhaven set, and I think I'm trying to pick some of the cards that maybe don't make all of the top 10 lists. As a new player, I've been learning a lot, but these cards have really helped me get better and helped me win games in this limited format of draft. So I'm going to list you my own personal opinion of my favorite top 10 cards in draft. When I see these cards, these are the cards I want to pick up, and I'll kind of maybe tell you some stories about them, or tell you why I think they're good, and maybe you use these cards and you can relate to the cards that I have in my top 10, or maybe you're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, no wonder he is a noob, and that's totally fine too. I don't mind that at all, because I am a noob, and I want to get out of noob status into getting better. So let's go ahead and talk about the cards in my top 10. We have going from commons all the way to a mythic, so I just kind of organized it by the rarity. We're going to start with the common, and the first one is the Combat Professor. Combat Professor is a creature bird cleric. It costs 3 and a white, and it's flying, which is awesome. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains vigilance until end of turn. There are lots of things to like. I just think Combat Professor is a really solid body. I mean, this guy flies over folks and buffs folks and gives them vigilance. Those are all amazing things, especially in a limited format. I think he's not a game winner, but he helps you get ahead. He makes life difficult for your opponent. And what I really like is there are a lot of 2/2 creatures in Strixhaven. And so with him having 2/3, that just gives him that little extra advantage, makes him just a little bit scarier, and it just makes your opponent think, twice before doing anything. With the Combat Professor out, he works great with sort of that white and red Lorehold. We'll say Lorehold theme, where we're attacking, we're trying to buff up. This guy does really well. And you know what? I was in Lorehold a lot because as a newer player, an aggressive deck is kind of what I went to at first, because trying to do a control deck, not knowing cards and not knowing Magic really that well, I wasn't trying to do a lot of control. I started playing more with that later on, and it did well for me. I did well with it. I enjoyed it. But doing those basic aggro strategies was great. Okay, let's move on. The second card, also a common, very simplistic card. It is Lash of Malice. First of all, look at that artwork on there. It's so cool, that swirl flying over there. It does +2/-2 to a creature for just 1 black mana. And oftentimes I use Lash of Malice to just kill a creature. A lot of 2/2s, like I mentioned, with Combat Professor, and so give a creature +2/-2, they're dead. But the really cool thing about this card is you don't have to use it against your opponent. You can actually use it on your own creatures to give them a buff if they don't die to the -2. And so it actually has a dual purpose. It can either buff your own tougher guys or kill the smaller guys on your opponent's turn, and that is great. being a black card, oftentimes if you're playing Silver Quill, which is white and black, this card works perfectly with like your eager first years, clever luminancers. It'll buff them, and it's a really cheap card to just have a spell to use. It's an instant speed spell, which makes it really, really useful. I mean, this card doesn't stay in my hand very long, or it's either that or, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to plan to use this soon. It's never like a really dead card. It's a card you can almost always find a really good use for pretty quick. So I really do like the Lash of Malice. Okay, let's go on to a green uncommon. And this card, it's a fun card. It's the Overgrown Arch. It's like a big plant, and it's kind of a boring card, I guess. It's a defender, but look what it does. If you tap it, you gain life. And if you really want, you can sacrifice it to learn. Well, that's pretty sweet. It only costs 1 and a green. Like I mentioned before, there's a lot of creatures that are 2/2s or maybe even 3/2, 3/1. This is going to block that pretty effectively. It's going to create that wall that it's supposed to do. So it's doing its job really well. But also at the end of their turn, if it's not tapped, usually it won't be, you can tap it to gain life, just to keep you in the game. And with green, you know, gaining life is something that green just does, and this helps you do that. Combine this with Dina, and you gain a life, they lose a life. If you do that every turn, all those little bits of damage, that's going to add up. And so Overgrown Arch is really useful. And even if they block and they're going to die, you can either gain that last little bit of life, or you can sack it for 2 if you have 2 open, and then learn and get a lesson. Really useful. Really a utility card. Keeps you alive in the beginning of the game. Helps you gain a little bit of life. And then if it dies because creatures are getting too big, you can sacrifice it after blocking to learn. I just think there's so much use there for only 2, you know, a converted mana cost of 2. That's really awesome. There is the Overgrown Arch for you. I really like that card. I've talked about this next card a bit in some of my other videos. It's Mascot Interception. Mascot Interception is a bit expensive. It's 3 and a red. But it costs 3 less to cast if the target is a creature token, which in Strixhaven there are tons of creature tokens. You gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap the creature, it gains +2 haste until the end of turn. Let me tell you guys, this can be game breaking. There are some cards, like there's that, what is it? It's like the something of the Auric. It's the blue card where like you can actually, you know, take the creature forever. And that's great. But you can only take a creature of so much mana, converted mana cost. This card lets you take tokens on the cheap for just one mana of anything. Or no, sorry, 1 red. You take away the 3/3, and then you can just, pay 1. Pay 1 to take, like, if they use like if they have like a big fractal creature that's like 20/20, which I've seen before, even 23, 24/24, you can take that for just the 1 red. And suddenly they're facing that giant. They thought they had won the game. Maybe you turn the tables on them. This can be a game winner, a game breaker. Same deal. Like, you can not only take tokens, but take any of their creatures. You can take their dragons. You can take their Master Symmetrist or Wandering Archaics. You can take any of these things because it doesn't have a limit on what you take, and they get +2. So you take their Bookworm or something giant and you use it against them, that could be game over right then and right there. And it's done that for me. And it's all because I see other lists that that say this is one of the worst cards, and maybe it is, and maybe I'm just looking at this with a fresh new pair of eyes where I'm saying, well, just because I think a lot of people want to destroy the card that they get. Like, I took it, I battled with it, and now I'm destroying it. Well, if you win the game, doesn't matter if they have it back at the end, right? So this card has been so much fun to use. And early game too, use it early game to just get that slight advantage, especially in red. You're just trying to get that damage out to them as quickly as possible. The mascot interception, great early game, great late game. Mid game, it's not that great because oftentimes if you take a piece from them, they have a bunch of other pieces that can block it. It's not going to do a whole lot. But end of game scenarios, beginning of game scenarios, mascot interception is pretty sweet. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. We're going to go to another uncommon, and this uncommon has been the bane of my existence recently in all of Limited, and it's Rutha. Rutha is ruthless. A lot of the decks that I play that beat me, and I feel like our higher tier, like decks that have stuck around in Limited, have Rutha in them. Even if they're not exclusively Prismari, blue and red, they have Rutha because Rutha has just an outstanding ability. For 2 of whatever you'd like, or whatever mana, return Rutha, Mercurial Artist, to its owner's hand. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. This has been nuts. I am so afraid of everything when Rutha comes out because they play a spell, they copy it, Rutha goes away, she'll come back to copy more. It's not like some cards that you copy the spell once and then you're done and then, that was terrible. But it's copy over and over and over, and Rutha just keeps coming back, and she has a toughness of 4, which makes her a little bit difficult to kill. If I'm going to expel anybody, or if I'm going to heated debate anybody, it's going to be Rutha, because Rutha can just double up all of their spells and just decimate my entire line of creatures, and then go get me. That's how tough Rutha is to deal with. And oftentimes there's that one card, I forget its name, but you can make 2 4/4s. You use it on Rutha, suddenly you're facing down 4 4/4s. And that's really hard to deal with in a limited format. 4 4/4s. What are you going to do? Not a whole lot, I think. So, with Rutha, she can really just take over once she comes out. There are so many times where I was like, I'm in the lead, yay! Rutha comes out, insta sad face, and I lose. Thanks. So, Rutha, Ruthless, great card. I try to draft her. I've been trying to draft her recently, but so that I can use her and do those nasty things, but I haven't really been able to, and the season's coming to end really quick here on Arena for Strixhaven, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get her and try to dole out some of the things she's done to me, because she has been really mean. Not been liking Rutha at all, but I can see her power. Okay, next to Blade Historian. Blade Historian is actually probably my favorite card in all of Strixhaven. He gives, it costs 4 of either red or white, and the attacking creatures you control have double strike, 2/3. This can be a game ender. I mean, you throw the Blade Historian out and suddenly everybody has double strike. That's pretty good. I mean, and he's a 2/3. That's really, really nice. He is a scary, scary creature to put out there. I love the way he looks. He looks like a dark Jedi, but with the white, it's like he's turned from good to bad or something. I just really love the artwork. I actually went out and got the extended art foil just to collect because I think he looks so cool. And the card is great. I would love to put a deck together, maybe in Standard, that features him or has him in it, just because I want to use that ability to give all the creatures double strike. When that happens, oftentimes, especially if you have a creature with sort of more power, that's going to really do your opponent in really, really fast. Now, there's a card, this is going to be card number 7, the next card, and this is not really one of the best cards, but I've won a few games with this. It's Strixhaven Stadium, and actually Blade Historian can help you get wins from Strixhaven Stadium. In my last draft, there were 2 Strixhaven Stadiums, and they were just going around and around and around. Nobody picked them up. But if I was playing red and white, I would have definitely picked up Strixhaven Stadium pretty early. So it's a card that if you get it, you have to really know what you want to do. I feel like an aggressive deck would be good for that. If you have Zephyr Boots, that'd be good for that. People with Double Strike, this is excellent for. But if you get 10 counters on the Strixhaven Stadium, you win the game. It's like an alternate win condition. That is awesome. And you put a counter on it every time you hit your opponent with a creature. So it says, whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, or no, that's the other part. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. So, whenever a creature deals damage, if they double strike, I think that's 2 damage, 2 counters, and then if you have a bunch of creatures, you're just going to have a bunch of damage. Even if they're damaging just for 1, that's damage, and that's going to be a counter. And you also get to add a counter when you tap it to add colorless mana. So you can do it all day long. You can just use it as a mana source, and you can also use it to, calculate those counters from all your little hits that your guys are doing. You get 10 on there, you win the game. I've had opponents where I've gotten the counters up to like 8 or 9, and they're on the other side, and they're like, I'm gonna lose. They just quit the game because they fold, because they know that I'm not gonna win by like taking their entire life total, but I'm gonna win because of these dumb counters on this stadium. That's an alternate win condition, and it's hilarious to have that happen. So, really fun card. Nobody really seems to like it, but I think it is pretty sweet. You know what? Let's continue on the fighting theme with another rare. This is in white, and I feel like if you have this card out, you are in a prime position to win. If I see this card, I am taking this card like right away, and it is Sparring Regimen. This is an enchantment, so it just kind of stays on the table, and it says when it enters the battlefield, first of all, you get to learn, so you get to take a card, and learn, and whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. What? So it attacks. It's going to attack. You get to put a 1/1 counter on it, and then you untap it like it had vigilance. That's kind of amazing, especially in limited. So your guys are refreshed back from having to tap, so they can block again if they need to on the next turn, and they have a +1/+1 on it. Plus, you got to learn, so you could have learned like expanded anatomy or something to put even more counters on your creatures. Sparring Regimen, especially if you get it early on, like I just feel like in an aggressive white-red deck or even a white-black deck, it's gonna deal so much damage so quick, and it's gonna buff your guys up so fast and so quick. It's going to be really hard to respond to that. I've been on both ends where I've played with Sparring Regimen, and it's been phenomenal, and I've seen it just kick my butt a bunch of times to know that Sparring Regimen is one of those cards that can just basically win you the game. You get it out. As long as you have some creatures out, you're going to do really well with the Sparring Regimen. It's hard to buff creatures all the time, and this is an enchantment that just stays there and buffs and buffs and buffs. So, really hard to get rid of. A great card to get if you are playing, white and red. That's all I gotta say. Play white, red, white, black, gotta get this card. Okay, we're gonna talk about a green. I've been playing this card a lot recently. And yeah, this is a cool card, and it's a game-breaking card used in the right place, and that's Exponential Growth. Exponential Growth, such a fun card to use. Until end of turn, double target creature's powers X times. I didn't really know what that meant at first. I was like, if X is 2, then you double it 2 times? Okay, if it's 3, do I times it by 3? No, that's not what it is. It's not times by 2, times by 3, times by 4. It's you double it. So let's say the creature's power is 2, and then you have 2 on this, then it'd be you double it twice. So it'd be 2 doubled is 4, and then do it again, it's 8. So for 6 mana, you got that 8 on there. And if you did it again, it would be 16. So Exponential Growth is pretty amazing. The only thing I don't like about it is it's a sorcery. So it's not instant speed. It's not like instant speed, Exponential Growth, haha, you lose now because you didn't block somebody or something like that. No, they'll see it coming because it's a sorcery speed spell. However, However, if you have something like Charge Through, or if you have a way to copy this spell, this spell just does wonders. It's won me a bunch of games, I'll tell you that. They don't see this spell coming because they feel like it's not a spell that anyone really should have. But you know what? I've drafted it in the past 3 drafts that I've done. I've just gotten it. Sometimes it's not the first pick, that's for sure. It's still sitting there on like 2 or 3 packs after the beginning of the draft. I'm like, why is this still here? But I've seriously been way behind and have come back to win on 1 turn because nobody thinks an Exponential Growth is coming. And you hit them with that, maybe they've attacked all, or you have a Charge Through in your hand, or you have something, a flyer that they cannot block. They think it's like nothing, where, okay, there's not enough damage to take me out. This card says otherwise. This card says, no, we do have enough damage, sorry. And you win the game. You could have 1 life left. They could have like 20 life, and this card can win you the game. So, it's, I can just kind of put my feet in the shoes of the person that I've done that to. That really sucks to lose to an Exponential Growth like that. But, it's happened a few times, and I find it tremendously fun and awesome, but I know my opponents do not. There we go. I just wanted to talk about 1 mythic, and this is the card. If I see it, I'm getting it. It's Velocamous Lorehold. It's the Boros Lorehold Dragon. This one I like. I think other folks don't place it as highly as I do, but I really like this dragon. Flying, first of all, vigilance, and haste. That is great. 5/5 in the air, fights right away. But look at this. Whenever Velocamous Lorehold attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to Lorehold's power, so 5, from among them without paying the mana cost. Put the rest in the bottom of the library in a random order. So he's attacking right away for 5, and when he attacks, you look at the library, 7 cards deep, pick an instant or sorcery to use for free. Yeah, game over, right? I mean, I feel like he's really tough. Like, if he comes out and you get to do like a buff or removal or something with his special ability, which if you're in red or if you're in white, you're going to either get some removal or some buffing. He's basically going to toast you. And vigilance, which means he doesn't need to tap. He's not going to get expelled or anything like that. He's flying. He's not going to be blocked by anything on the ground without reach. He's haste. He's attacking right away. And whenever and you know what? He gets to do this all over again on the next turn. That sucks if you're facing this. So I think, and you know what? As a newer player, I totally understand. I'm more about this super aggressive play style right now because that's what I'm learning right away at first, and it's kind of the easiest way to learn. But this guy just kicks so much butt. It's just so good. So Velocamous Lorehold, card number 10 on my top 10. It's not like an order of ranking from top to bottom or anything, but these are just like 10 cards that I thought made a difference for me in my drafts of Strixhaven. I'd love to hear from the 2 of you guys that watch this content. Well, what do you like to draft out of Strixhaven when you're participating in Strixhaven drafts? I mean, that's what I would love to know. What do you think of some of the cards I have up here? Do you use them, or are there better alternatives to the ones that I have listed? I'm all ears. I know the Strixhaven season on Arena is ending very, very soon. Very sad about that, but like I said, I'm looking forward to Dungeons & Dragons. Not the biggest Dungeons & Dragons fan. Actually, I read some of the Dragonlance books. I love those. But I'm really excited to get into the lore of Dungeons & Dragons. So, thanks for watching this video. Best luck to you in your Magic games, and I will see you next time.